Alright, so for all you smokers out there, I've got a way you can stop smoking and without using, a lot of you guys have tried to quit cold turkey, and that's the worst. A lot of people swear by it, say, oh, I quit cold turkey and it was the best thing for me. It's like, well, that's fine for you. That worked great for you. Some people have done the gum. I know my uncle, I think, still might use the gum. Various kinds of nicotine replacement, like the patch you put on your shoulder or whatever, and then you get the nice vivid dreams. It seems like they're real. So, but I was having a hard time, and so I found this electronic cigarette place, and I got one of these, picked it up for $35, with and a little bit more because I got juice and a coil, and I'll tell you what that is. Basically, how this works is this right here is a battery. When I fire the battery, this is going to light up, and it's going to produce a vape. Let me show you real quick. Alright, so how this one is charged. Some of them have the devices that you put a battery in them and then you charge up the battery separately. This one's a pass-through, which allows you to charge it up while you are vaping. So I got my USB, standard USB. You can plug it into a wall outlet you got for your cell phone or for your car. I'm going to plug it into the computer here. And I took the end off there, took that beauty piece off, and I'm plugging in my micro USB in here. Make sure I got it lined up. And you'll see that it turns red. That means it's charging, and when this particular one is done charging, it'll turn green. But I'm just going to leave it plugged in for now. Okay. Well, actually, yeah. I'll just unplug it. That's how that works. Now I'm going to put my little beauty piece back on, because there's nothing actually going through there except when you plug it in for power. On a normal cigarette, that's where the end that would burn, but this doesn't burn anything. It has a juice tank up top, and it has a coil unit in it, which the battery sends electricity like on a stove. It lights up, gets real hot. Same kind of thing. Only it's around a cotton or silica wick that soaks up the juice, and that juice contains vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, which is used on like Neo drinks and stuff like that, or different brands of flavorings, that kind of thing. They're all safe for human consumption. There are some flavors you have to be careful of, but you take your tank, which is what this is, take your bottle of e-juice, and you fill it up. I didn't use that much there, so I didn't take a whole lot out. That's why I didn't take that long. Plus, it's good for making videos. I'm going to leave this upside down for now, because I just filled it up. This particular model is a bottom coil, I should say. It's got this little piece here, this metal piece here, and when I bought the unit, I had to buy some of these, and they're called heads. And basically this has a little stack on the top, which I'm holding, and then a little wick there on the side, and the coil's inside of it. And it just screws right onto this little piece here. And then it screws right back down into the tank. And your heads usually cost about, for this model, Kangertech EVOD is what it's called. Cost around, they last about a week, week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, depending on how much you vape. $12 for 5, or like $3 a piece. You screw it back on there, and then it's attached to the battery. And your juice usually costs you about $6 for or up to $10 for a 10 ml bottle a small little bottle of juice, which for me lasts about 2 or 3 days, depending on how much you vape. This one here is a 30 ml bottle, a little bit bigger, and I've made my own juice, which you don't have to do. And they usually cost at least around $13 up to $25, depending on what kind of juice you want. If you're going to do this, I would suggest getting something you like, something that tastes good. I've got a cranberry raspberry cheesecake, and you can get the kind of mixture you want as far as how much nicotine you get. Now, nicotine without burning it, without burning all the other stuff you get in cigarettes, is actually pretty tame. It's nicotine. It's similar to caffeine. caffeine and nicotine are both stimulants. Now, people say, well, nicotine is a poison. Well, if you have too much of it, it'll make you sick. And most people that smoke, if you smoke, after a while, if you start chain smoking and keep cigarette after cigarette, after a while you don't feel right. You'll stop because you can't take anymore. That's how it works. Same thing with caffeine. If you start, you have too much caffeine, too many espressos or whatever, you start getting jittery, you start feeling bad, and you'll stop. So, by itself, nicotine is relatively harmless if it's not smoked. You don't get any smoke properties. So you still get the nicotine. Now it affects it. When you start vaping, it'll be a little bit different because it gets into your system a little bit differently than smoke. Smoke is a real harsh, and it tends to get in pretty quickly, and everything else in there gets in there quickly too. This tends to a little bit slower. So when I started out, I had like 24 milligrams of nicotine. This right here is like 11. Usually you can't get 11 unless you ask for it or you make it your own. But 12 is pretty common. You can get down to 6, 3, and then some people vape with no nicotine at all. So, and they're satisfied because they still have the action of doing this. I noticed I took a little bit longer drag on this than I would a cigarette because I get better flavor, I get better vapor, and it tends to get better nicotine hit on it. Now, if you have more nicotine, it's going to get the same kind of throat hit you would with a cigarette. And if you have the higher nicotine level, you'll notice that even if you get too much, you'll notice that you can get a buzz off it like you would when you first start smoking, or if you hadn't had a cigarette a long time. You'll be like, whoa. Okay, so be careful of that. And there was something else I was going to tell you about. If you want to start doing this, it was $35 for the battery and the juice, and then it was like I spent like $3 for or $6 for 2 of the coils, or the heads they call them, and then I bought some juice for like I think I bought a bigger bottle at the time, and it was like $12, $13. So total was around $50, and was supposed to last me about 2.5 weeks. Now, this bottle will last me less now because I put less nicotine in. I vape a little bit more than I first did, because when I first started, I would still smoke, and then transferred over to doing this. And at the end of 2 weeks, I was not smoking at all anymore. I didn't need it. I got used to vaping, and so a lot of people make the mistake. They just switch all the way over to this right away. Some people actually still vape and smoke, which I wouldn't recommend, but at least you're not getting as much smoke in your system, so it's better that way. But I would try to transition over. So I would smoke a lot at the start, and then I would introduce this and kept doing this and kept doing this until it was just, I think I had a pack and a half at the start of the 2 weeks and at the end of the 2 weeks. I didn't make it like a goal or anything. I just, I'm just going to start doing it, see what happens. And by the end of 2 weeks, I still had half a pack left. So that's how it works. It works pretty good. Some people may take longer, but I would try to transfer over. I think that's about it for now. If you have any questions, let me know. If you would like to try my cranberry raspberry cheesecake, which is really good, and by the way, if you make your own, it's very difficult because you wind up throwing away a lot of stuff that don't taste good, and you got to know, put in the right amounts, and it's like you're a mad scientist with all beakers and stuff. And anyway, if you want to try it, let me know. Try to work out something for shipping and that kind of thing. So that's it for now. I'm gonna end this with a vape. So if you're smoking, I'm telling you, gotta try this. See you soon.